Okay, this video is about how to save coins that you pick up and how to save your score that you collect. So I'm going to play this. So you have 8 coins here. So I collect 2. It says number 2 there. And then I'm going to close this out. Reopen it back up. Then I'm going to press play. And see, those 2 coins are gone. And it saved my score. So then I'm going to go to the next room. I've got 8. I'm going to close that out, reopen it back up, and now I'm at 8 again in the next room. So it saves your room as well. So the play kind of acts like a load button as well. And see, now you're on that same area I was at just a minute ago. Then it goes to the end screen. Then when I load it back up, press play, goes to the load screen. Or the end screen anyways. I'm going to show you how I did that. Alright, so there's no script for this load thing. In the room, we have just a play button and we have a question mark here which talks about save score, or it says score saved. Do not make it persistent. So you go to add event and then you want to go to your other and then check game start, and then you want to bring in a coded sheet and you're going to say this INI underscore open coins 14. Now this did say coins.ini, but since I had saved it several times and loaded it, it saved my previous load, and so I wanted to start over again, so I changed the number here to you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can say coins4.ini or coins5.ini, so you can get back to 0. So you can start all over again pretty much just to test it out. But so you just make a name here for your INI file. That's so the game will save. He'll create an INI file that Game Maker makes to save and load your game. Then I call my score global.score1. You can call it whatever you want. You can say score 2 or just score, but you gotta have that global in front of it. Equals INI read real. So you're gonna read the real to save basically to save the room and save your score. And it's also going to save what you pick up. And you're going to start at 0 for your score, so comma 0. Then you want to close your INI file out so that way you don't have any memory leak. Alright. So that's going to be in your first room. In your play button, you're going to have a left pressed event, the mouse left pressed, and then you're going to drag over in the control tab a 1, 2, 3, which tests the count. So this is going to, once you have collected all of your coins in the room, then it'll jump to the next room. It doesn't matter what coin you pick up first or which one you pick up last. After all the coins are picked up in the room, then it'll jump to the next room. So when it's equal to 0, which means you have none in the room anymore, then it's going to go to the next room. And then, like I said, then you have in your main 1 tab, you drag over a go to next room. So once you test, once the game tests everything, make sure you have no coins in the room, then it's going to jump to the next room. That's what's going to happen until you collect all the coins in the next room. It'll do the same thing. Then you have a mouse enter button and a mouse leave button. And so the enter button, I grabbed a color sprite, which, so when I go over the button, I made it like a aqua blue color, alpha set to 100, so you can see the color. Then when you leave the button, then it's going to go back to the original color, which make sure you set it to white, because that's the original color that it started out with, and then make the alpha 100. So the original color is going to be the silver color here, and the button's kind of big. I could have reduced the size down in Photoshop, but I just went ahead and reduced it down in Game Maker, which is, you know, not really a good idea because then your file is still big. But this is just demonstration purposes, so I just scaled it down in Game Maker. Alright, and the button's at -50 on the depth. Alright, so then we go to room 0 here, the next room, and we have 4 question marks in here. One's called the instance count, set score room, the score saved, and then O underscore draw. So we'll talk about the instance count first. Don't need a sprite image. When you don't have a sprite, then Game Maker makes a image, which is a question mark there. And so we do add event, do a step event, then you drag over a instant count, test count. So it's going to test the coins. That's what I labeled it as. When it's at 0 equal to, it's going to go to the next room. And the way this play button works, it plays 2 ways. When you first play the game, you have all the coins when you go to the next room, of course, and then when you collect all your coins in the second room, and then leave it and then press play again, it'll go to the same room you were in originally. So like I said, in the play button, you just need the instance count and then go to next. Doesn't require any coded sheet for the load or save. It automatically knows and senses where to go, because you have these other question marks I'm going to talk about that save and load the game for the most part. Alright, so that's the instance count. Then we're going to talk about the set score room. Add event, diamond, game start. I tried room start, I tried like game end, and it didn't seem to load and save correctly, so that's game start seemed to work. Even create didn't work, so make sure you have it set to game start. Then control tab, coded sheet. Then your first room, your score is going to be a 0, so global.score1 equals 0. So this score 1 has to match up to what you had in the first room, which is the score saved. So see how global.score1, this has to match what's in your first room here, which right here, that's what it says, global.score1 equals 0. So when you haven't collected any coins yet, your score is at 0. So that's what it states there. And then we go to the next question mark, which was in the first room, which just talks about the saving part. So it's gonna, well, actually it's gonna read it. You're reading your save and score and whatever you picked up. But actually, it's all it's really doing here, I think, is just saving your score for the most part and saving the room you're in. The picked up parts later on, I have another coded script for that one. Alright, so then we got the last one, O draw, and this is going to draw your coins, I mean your score. It's going to be white. As I have a font 0, and then your draw your text, which is going to be where it's going to be lined up in your room at, and there's string global.score1. Make sure that matches, otherwise it's not going to save your score. So that global.score1 is also in this script here, so that way it will save and load. And depth minus 500. So this is going to basically project your score and save it pretty much. Well, actually, it just projects. All it's really doing is projecting your score. But with this global.score1 in there, that's needed so that way it can read and write your score when you load and play your game. Alright, then we got the pick up the coin. So do a create coded sheet, and here you have the same name for the INI open file. Make sure it's the same thing that I talked about in save the score saved. See, it has the same name right here. Make sure it matches the same for the INI open. So what this is talking about is basically when you pick up an item, it's going to take -1 away and destroy the coin, but it's also going to read it, and so that way it can save and load what you have collected when you picked it up. So it's basically stating that you're picking up coin, and you can label this whatever you want here too, but just make sure you stay consistent with the coding. If you have coins here and the other script has coins, you make sure it has a match. And it's going to destroy the coin, and it's going to basically read and save what you picked up. That's what it's saying here, and it's going to close the code file out. Then when you do a left press, you're going to do a set variable, which is in your control tab. There's that variable again, that same name, global.score1 has to match, and you're going to pick up 1. So you're saying that when you collect 1 coin, you're going to gain 1 point score. Set it to relative. Then you have another coded sheet, and this is writing now. So the other one, in the crate, it's reading what you pick up, and then when you do a left press event, it's going to write what you pick up. So it's going to save it. It's going to save what you pick up and destroy. So whatever you pick up, it's going to, you collected it, give you a score, and it's going to destroy that coin. It's going to save that, seeing that you destroy that coin, and you got that score. It's going to save the room you're in as well, and it's going to save the score and what image coins you picked up. So it's doing 3 things. It's going to save whatever you picked up, the coins. It's going to give you a score, and it's also going to save the room. So that's what it's doing here. It's writing. So it's going to write everything. Write what you pick up, write your score, and write the room you're in, pretty much. Even though it doesn't say room, room saved, it's going to save the room. And I think this instant count has something to do with it too. This test count, instant count, also has something to do with pretty much saving the room as well. Because when you have no coins in the room, you jump to the next room, and it pretty much it saves. But the location where you're at. So I think talked about everything here. Yeah, because what I talked about before in my other videos with saving and loading, I talked about how to save the room you're in and your score, and that was it. So in this situation, you're actually, whatever you pick up, which is your object, it's going to also save that as well. And I know I don't have a script that says anything about saving the room you're in, but I think, like I said, testing your score out, testing your instant count, that has something to do with saving the room you're in as well. That has something to do with it, even though I don't have a script for saving the room. Because, like I said, the beginning here, I have the play button, and that also acts as a load. So it depends if you collected anything in the next room. If you collected something in the next room, then it's going to remember that, and then when you go back into it, press play, it's going to go to that room that you were in, because it's using that instant count and it's remembering what coins you picked up in a way. So that's helping remember what room you're in, as well as the code I just talked about with picking up the coins. Alright, thanks for watching.